Hello everyone, this is Trents Outlet. The title was The Happiest Fluppy. Story and song. I hope you enjoyed.
This is the story of The Happiest Fluppy. You can read along with me in your book. You will know it is time to turn the page when you hear the chimes ring like this. Let's begin now. Sally the silly flup was standing very still, watching a butterfly on her nose. She smiled as the colorful creature moved its wings up and down in the breeze. Suddenly a bell rang out. Sally's owner, Barbara, called from the house.
Fluffy dogs, time for dinner!
The butterfly took off, and so did Sally.
Here I come!
She raced through the door and turned a corner. Then her feet hit the slippery kitchen floor, and she began to slide right past all the other Fluffy dogs. She was headed right for their bowls of dog food.
Look out, everybody! Geronimo!
A moment later, Sally was sitting on the floor with a pile of bowls around her and dog food dripping down her face. Baxter the brave flup grinned.
Sally, that was great. Only next time, why don't you try a swan dive?
The other Fluffy dogs roared with laughter. Sally climbed to her feet and stomped off toward the door.
That's right. Everybody just go ahead and laugh. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Sally slammed the door behind her. A moment later, she came out again.
Okay, so I walked into the closet. What's so funny about that?
When she left the room, the Fluffy dogs were still laughing. Sally cleaned herself off and went outside to lie on the back step. She hadn't been there long when Connie the Cuddle Flup came outside.
Here's some dinner for you, Sally. I hope you're not mad.
I guess I'm not really. It's just that everybody's always laughing at me.
Sally sat up straight and tall.
I wish people would take me seriously once in a while. I wish I could be somebody important.
But Sally, you are important. And it's because you make people laugh.
Sally looked her friend right in the eye.
Connie, I think that's about to change.
The next day, Sally went to Baxter the brave flup.
Baxter, I'm tired of people laughing at me. I want to be important like you. Could you show me how?
Sure, kid. Well, I guess the most important thing I do is protect Barbara. But to do that, you have to be brave and stand up to strangers. For instance, every day about this time, a stranger comes by carrying a large pouch. When I bark, he drops some letters in the mailbox and runs. It works every time. Listen to this.
Baxter let out a ferocious bark, and Sally looked on in admiration.
Gee, that's wonderful, Baxter.
Here he comes now. Let him have it, kid.
Sally barked for all she was worth, but somehow her bark didn't sound the same as Baxter's. The stranger put some letters in the mailbox, but he didn't run away. Instead, he looked at Sally and started to laugh. The stranger reached over the fence and patted her on the head.
Good dog. What a silly dog.
He walked away, chuckling to himself. Sally looked at her friend.
What happened, Baxter? He was supposed to be scared.
Give it more oomph, Sally. From the heart, kid, from the heart.
Sally tried again. Baxter smiled weakly.
Tell you what, kid, keep working on it, and we'll give it another shot tomorrow.
A little while later, Sally was practicing her bark when she heard a noise behind her. She turned and saw Cliff the Cool Flup leaning against the fence.
Hey, Sally,
I suppose that's part of some new comedy routine. Nice. Very nice.
No, Cliff, it's not supposed to be funny. It's supposed to make me sound brave and important.
Cliff ambled up to her.
You want to be important, Sally? All you need to do is be cool. Here, try on these shades.
He handed her his dark glasses, and she put them on.
How do I look, Cliff?
Cool. Very cool.
Sally grinned with excitement.
Now no one will ever laugh at me again. Wait till I show the others.
She turned and hurried off, but she didn't get very far.
Ouch! Cliff, what was that?
You just ran into the fence.
Sally squinted her eyes.
Boy, it's hard to see in these things. I'll just... Ow!
Sally, you bumped into the tree.
Rubbing her nose, Sally handed the dark glasses back to Cliff, who was trying not to laugh.
Gee, Cliff, maybe you'd better keep these. I guess I'm not the cool type.
Sally went inside, where she found Francie the Fancy Flup lounging on a designer cushion. When Sally told her what had happened, Francie pulled out a curling iron and some ribbons.
You want to be important, Sally? Then you've got to look important. 1 or 2 well-placed curls, and you'll be a brand new Flup.
Sally thanked Francie and took the curling iron into the next room. When Sally came out, she stood nervously in front of her friend.
Well, Francie, what do you think?
Francie got a strange look on her face.
Gee, Sally, it's very... that is... I mean...
As hard as she tried not to, she couldn't keep from giggling.
Oh, Sally, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh, only...
Sally nodded her head sadly.
I know. It looks silly. Everything I do looks silly.
Sally went outside and lay down next to the driveway. Her lip trembled and her eyes glistened.
I can't do anything right. I'm not fancy like Francie, or cool like Cliff, or brave like Baxter. I'm a flop as a Fluppy.
Just then, Barbara rode up on her bicycle. As Sally watched, the bike hit a wet spot on the driveway. It skidded, and Barbara was thrown to the ground. Without thinking, Sally raced toward her friend.
Barbara, are you okay?
The girl looked up with a pained expression on her face. And then a wonderful thing happened. She began to laugh.
Sally, where did you get all those curls? You're such a silly Flup. What would I do without you?
Barbara climbed to her feet and brushed herself off. Then she picked up the Fluffy dog and gave her a big hug.
I love you, Sally.
She gave Sally a quick kiss and set her back down. As Sally started to trot off, she tripped on a ribbon and went sprawling in the grass. Once again, Barbara started to laugh. This time, so did Sally. And suddenly, lying there in a tangle of ribbons and curls, Sally the silly Flup felt very important indeed.
This is Trents Outlet signing out. Thanks for coming soon to the near future.